For about 7 months, I've been developing a dungeon crawler game called Into the Chasm. In this video, I'm going to go over everything that's changed in the past 3 weeks. Enjoy! The warrior in the game looks a bit generic. It's just too basic, but that's not it. The character is not a knight, he's a warrior. He comes from a small town in East Auckland with armor and weapons custom made by his blacksmith. So why is he wearing basic plate armor? I was planning on making some little green archer guy, but then my computer was yanked from me by a furious madman who created this. Thanks. After making a few changes and implementing the new warrior, I decided to confront an annoying visual problem that has been bugging me since the first prototype. The sword looks blunt because the black at the end blends in with the ground and the void. I fixed this by adding 1 pixel of silver to it, and then complaining about how it looked weird for 5 minutes. Speaking of visual changes, I recently added these blue orb power-ups that glow and float, but they look bland, so I needed something to improve them. I finally used Godot's particle system to add some cool particles. I experimented with different settings until I got something I liked, but somehow these still don't feel magical. So I found a cool energy sound effect online, and spent a while making it get louder when you get closer to the orb, and quieter when you walk away from it. Another thing I've wanted to add for a while is some indicator of which direction the stone enemies are going to roll next. I decided on a yellow arrow, but now I could either manually create 8 animations, or I could write code to automate it. Naturally, I chose the second option, because while it might be harder, it would be a lot less tedious. I spent a while on this, but after some tweaking, it gave me something I like. How does it work, you ask? Well, it first takes the player's position and gets the direction it would need to go to hit them, though it only has 8 direction options so that it's not way too powerful. Then it uses this information to set the rotation of the arrow so that it points in that direction. It makes the arrow visible because the arrow is hidden when it's not in use, and it then waits a bit before rolling in that direction. For a long time, I've wanted to find a way to tell the backstory of the chasm and the mages that lived there, but the storybook is actually a logbook of the warrior's adventures, so I decided to add a new library screen where you can select either the logbook or the history book, which I'll be writing with MadCat34. The history book will contain the entire backstory of the chasm, though I might add some separate books to store a bit more information, and to find pages, 1 page will be hidden in each level, so you'll have to explore the levels a lot more. I might even have more books that you can collect, as I think that is a pretty interesting idea. After all this, I spent a little while making changes to the levels to make them more interesting. I have a few ideas for new objects like golden doors and keys to add to make the puzzles more interesting, and I also came up with a few new ones. No spoilers though, I definitely want to add a few more puzzles to the game to just change up the gameplay a bit. That's not all, though. Colonel Turtle created this cool story art for level 6 in the logbook, and Flying Zucchini and MadCat34 have worked a bit for an upcoming mystery project. I also began brainstorming ideas for the history book. I then assigned new jobs in the Discord server. Colonel Turtle will be working on the art for the history book, and Flying Zucchini will work on the sprite for the pages you collect. Your local Chris is creating an app icon, and MadCat34 is still writing backstory. I've got tons of cool plans for other stuff to add, but that's it for now. Sorry for the short devlog. If you enjoyed, please subscribe.